better contractors, hopefully. Today we have Linda here to talk to us a little about building the next generation workforce, as you can read on your slide. Great opportunities through these webinars, and I know Linda will be an addition that will stick in all of our minds of helping us to grow in a positive light. We've got a couple of other events this year that are going to be highlighted later on in this show, so make sure to pay attention to that. And I'd just like to say that we could not do this without the support of the contractors that are out there. So those of you that are sitting in your office or riding in your car, we do appreciate you being here. Keep the inputs coming. Let us know how we can do more for you. And my contact information, as well as several others, will be toward the end of this presentation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will pass this on to John Farner as he opens up to our presenter and also does some housekeeping activities. So go ahead, John.
Great, thanks, Mel. I appreciate your comments and your leadership with the IA's Contractor Common Interest Group. Thanks, everyone, for attending. This is the third out of 4 of our Point of Connection webinar series webinars. This one focuses on how we are developing our next generation of the workforce in the irrigation industry. And as Mel mentioned, Linda Whiteman with Hunter Industries here to present for us today. I want to first go ahead and talk a little bit about today's webinar and the process, etc. First of all, we are recording this webinar, so if for any reasons you want to reference this webinar, Linda said she would go ahead and make her PowerPoint available to us as well. So if you have any questions about what was discussed, want to reference anything that was brought up during the webinar, this will be linked at irrigation.org/webinar_series. So go ahead and visit that site for both for this webinar as well as our previous webinars, and to sign up for our upcoming webinar next month. That is a one-stop shop for all of our webinars that the Irrigation Association has to offer. If you have a question during the webinar, please go ahead and type it into your question box. Those will be sent directly to me, and I will go ahead and moderate a Q&A with Linda at the end of this presentation. So it's it gets a bit unruly if you open up the phones for questions. It's much easier to go ahead and type in your question. That way, if you have a question, go ahead and type it when Linda's speaking. I'll go ahead and capture those, so you don't have to worry about forgetting a question, or if you missed anything, we can go back to it. So we can go ahead and type those in, get those to me, and we can moderate a pretty good question and answer period after the presentation. So I want to go ahead and introduce Linda Whiteman. I consider Linda a friend. I've known her since my early days of working at the Irrigation Association. She's been with Hunter Industries since 1984, and she's held positions in sales, education, training, among others. Currently the Industry Relations Manager, working on the company's specification efforts worldwide on education opportunities, allied association representation, with a focus, of course, on water conservation and sustainable landscapes. She's been very involved, I know, with the Irrigation Association and the Irrigation Foundation, which has a lot to do with what Linda is going to be talking about today. She has a background in ornamental horticulture, landscaping, and irrigation, so it's a really strong background to what she's bringing to the table today. She hails from Missoula, Montana, which I'm sure she would love to talk to you about after the webinar, and I love teaching others about efficient irrigation practices. So I'll go ahead and introduce Linda and just take it away. I'm going to give the controls over to you.
Thank you, John. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. We see your screen bright and clear.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, everybody. Thanks for taking an hour out of your day. I know it's a Friday, and that makes it even tougher, but welcome to building our next generation workforce. I have my contact information listed on the screen and also at the end of this presentation, and as John mentioned, it will be available. I have quite a few links, hyperlinks for references that you might want to use when we're done. So how do we identify and find students who want to get involved in the irrigation industry? Where do we start looking? What programs are currently available to teach students about water, conservation, and efficient irrigation systems? Well, to start with, sorry. What's available now? A few that I'd like to touch on today, just because there are so many out there that complement each other, different programs and processes available. The Irrigation Foundation, as John mentioned. Also, the National Association of Landscape Professionals, which recently changed its name to NALP from Planet. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with Planet. The FFA of all organizations, Sports Turf Managers Association, various careers and websites, and a listing of schools who are now offering irrigation education to our next generation of workers. So hopefully, as an industry, we can help create a fun and collaborative future and culture, teamwork. And that's what it's all about. And as I go through some of these, you'll see how teamwork really does play a part in supporting a clear path for growth within the various companies. Starting out with the Irrigation Foundation, you can see the website. It's listed. The Irrigation Foundation's mission is the foundation strives for a future where the irrigation industry is thriving with an ample supply of educated, highly skilled professionals who employ technology and best practices to provide efficient irrigation solutions that protect water resources. It's really what we're all about, working with water in any way these days. And we'll talk about careers in a little while. But this foundation's mission really hits the nail right on the head. Some of the Irrigation Foundation's main goals are to assist in developing and implementing irrigation and water courses in schools. We want to create irrigation career awareness. And this isn't just to the students. It's also to the instructors of horticulture programs, turf programs, landscape architecture, you name it. Anything that has to do with our allied industries and irrigation, we want to make sure those instructors understand the importance of careers in irrigation and water. We want to support the programs that pertain to students and irrigation and water conservation. With the foundation, we have a number of campaigns that we have just started recently, and maybe some of you have seen these. But did you know we've got influence? This particular campaign on the left really pertains to instructors, and I'll go through that in a minute and some of the programs that we're doing for instructors. Did you know we've got your succession plan, really pertaining to students? And did you know we've got jobs, instructors, students, and potential employees? Did you know we've got influence? The Irrigation Foundation helps advance the health and vitality of the irrigation industry by mentoring educated, passionate individuals to support its future. Specifically to instructors who do or don't teach irrigation, this campaign reaches out to them. One of the main events that we hold on an annual basis is the Irrigation Faculty Academy. Educators are invited to attend a 2-day event, sometimes 2.5 days, to network and learn about irrigation-related subjects. Attendees also provide the foundation with valuable insight on student recruitment and opportunities and challenges. On an average, we get anywhere from 28 to 30 attendees from all types of schools. The Faculty Academy has been taking place since 2003. 4-year, 2-year community colleges, technical, and even in the last 3 years, we've had high schools join us, which if you think about it, we really need to be reaching out to the high school level and starting that career development at that early age. We conduct train-the-trainer classes, showcase new IA educational materials that can be used in the classroom, take tours of various types of facilities that will enhance their knowledge and experience. And overall, we just have a really great time. A great quote from Claire Erlinger, who's a faculty member at Miracosta College in Oceanside, California. Faculty Academy is an excellent education program with a hands-on approach to learning, up-to-date content, and resources that I can take back to use in the classroom. Working with other instructors and developing contacts in the irrigation industry is the icing on the cake. Quick story, first Faculty Academy that Claire attended, she had just moved to Southern California and had applied for a job at Miracosta College to teach irrigation and head up their program. And while she was at the Faculty Academy, she got a phone call and she was accepted for the job. And she's been attending every single Faculty Academy since then. So, fun story. Between 2011 and 2014, 65 educators participated in the Irrigation Faculty Academy. This is just a short period of time, just a few years. Over 700 courses have been taught to almost 18,000 students over the same period. These are 700 courses specifically geared towards irrigation, water conservation, sustainable practices. Obviously, they've been dramatically increased the Foundation's impact and influence on irrigation curriculums nationwide. When we first developed the Faculty Academy and resurrected the Irrigation Foundation in 2003, we had 5 schools that had really true irrigation programs. Now we can boast that we have 45 schools that are teaching irrigation to students that are our next generation of employees. Another program that we have for instructors and Irrigation E3 leaders. Faculty members can apply to become an Irrigation E3 leader and obtain financial assistance to attend the irrigation show and also any of the educational opportunities that are presented at the conference. It's an outstanding networking and continuing education is a primary reason for the instructors to be able to attend this. And another great use of our donors' funds. We also have an Excellence in Education Award. It recognizes an instructor teaching irrigation, water management, and or conservation, usually from a 2- or 4-year institution, and helps to supply the industry with educated professionals. Our past Excellence in Education Awards in 2012, Greg Ferens from Walla Walla Community College, Dr. Kathy Levis from Kansas State University in 2013, and in 2014, last year, it was awarded to Dr. Michael Dukes from the University of Florida. This person helps supply the irrigation industry with educated professionals that provide efficient irrigation solutions that can help protect our environment. It's very important to recognize these people. Moving on to the next campaign that hopefully you've seen or you will see, did you know we've got a succession plan? So really geared towards students, the demand for healthy green environments continue to grow. We know that. Water is essential. It's our #1 most valuable resource to meet global demands. And students are recognizing that now in all of the classes that they're taking throughout the United States and North America. Efficient irrigation practices can help meet these needs, but a skilled mind and hand is needed. Goes back to developing those careers and having the curriculum in the schools. Students in the irrigation programs implement the tools of the trade. Demand for food, fuel, fiber, and the need for healthy green environments continues to grow as the world's population expands. Water is essential, as we know. The implement of the tools of the trade is to design, build, and manage water distribution systems that benefit the world and our water system and all of our companies, for all of you on the phone. The Foundation is dedicated to attracting and inspiring people to careers in irrigation. We want them to be excited. Students need to be inspired. We also have an Irrigation E3 program for students. E3 stands for Exposure, Experience, and Education. Exemplary students receive all expenses-paid trips to the IA conference and all of the classes that they can fit into their busy schedules. Students are nominated by their academic instructor and or advisor. This year's E3 learners will join the program's lead sponsor, the Toro Company, thank you very much, in Long Beach for the 2015 Irrigation Show. For any of you that are on the call, please, if you know of any students or have any students interested in getting involved in the irrigation industry and want to participate in this, it is so easy to get their instructors involved and to nominate the students. Be active, please. Understanding our students and young professionals, the Irrigation Foundation advances the irrigation industry using education that attracts people into the profession and ensures ongoing professional success. It's amazing how many students are now going into careers because of their involvement since 2003 with some type of program that we've had through the Irrigation Foundation. Many green careers require skills and knowledge about irrigation and water management. Careers in agriculture, landscape, golf, or sports tour management all utilize some type of irrigation. And I know I'm preaching to the choir on this because all of you on this phone call understand that, but we have to remember it's about the young professionals coming up the ladder. These students want to be impassioned by our industry, so we need to reach out to them. Moving on to another association that's very much in sync with the Irrigation Foundation is another foundation for Planet, now NALP, but it is the AEF, Academic Excellence Foundation. The AEF's mission and vision is the foundation aspires to attract, inspire, and support the education and advancement of landscape professionals who create and manage healthy green spaces for the benefit of society. Landscape industry professionals will be recognized as vital and valued contributors to our communities. Very similar to what the Irrigation Foundation is, but a much more broad scape to all landscaping and not just specific to irrigation as the Irrigation Foundation is, but still very good cause. Some of the AEF's goals for 2015 is research. Planet AEF is going to undertake research to understand the needs from the employers of the landscape professional workshop. So this is going to be a fantastic research that will be available to anybody who's on the call and to people in our industry, finding out what we need to be able to offer these students to get involved. Promote and engage in a targeted public education campaign that will raise awareness about professional careers in the landscape and irrigation industry, and it will support the recruitment and education of future professionals. Also, one of the main goals of the AEF is to provide scholarships to students for a career in the industry. Some of these scholarships that have been going on for many, many years, as you can see on the slide, anywhere from $3,000 all the way down to $500. Recently, at the Planet Student Career Days, and we'll talk about that in a minute, AEF was rounded up to over $900,000 in academic scholarships to over 800 horticulture, irrigation, and landscape students. That's a fantastic boost to get kids involved, and some returning students, certainly not kids, but by getting this money to be able to help with their education. Hunter actually has a water conservation and efficient irrigation scholarship. This year it went to Jacqueline Correnti, College of Western Idaho, a returned student who really wanted to focus not so much on landscaping, but definitely on water conservation and water management. So within the AEF scholarship system, you can have named scholarships. Again, if you have students that want to apply, certainly we give out a lot of money in this foundation. With that being said, moving on to Planet, or now the Association of Landscape Professionals, NALP, formerly Planet. One of the big events that is held that the Irrigation Foundation and quite a few other industries are involved with is the Student Career Days. It started 39 years ago. Hunter has been a sponsor of this for 23 years. In 2015, just last week as a matter of fact, it was in North Carolina State University. There were 70 participating schools, 825 plus students, 75 industry-related companies, 30 green industry-related events and competitions, workshops, and career development series. The whole idea about the Student Career Days is for a host school to invite any other focused school that has curriculum in horticulture, turf, landscape architecture, irrigation, of course, to bring as many students as they can fund to the host school. Workshops are held all day on Thursday, and the topics pertain to irrigation, principles of design, hands-on product installation, troubleshooting, different types of water hydraulics, how to do an irrigation audit are taught. basically information that isn't taught at school. So we get a range of about 130 students in the morning and about the same in the afternoon as we flip-flop classes. So it's very exciting to have the workshops which pertain to the Career Development Series. It's all about helping these students develop their careers and making them see how exciting irrigation really is. Then on Friday, we have the grand opening, which is very exciting. All of the teams give a cheer, and they're just there. Some schools bring 2 students, and some bring 40. Again, just depending upon how much money they can raise to bring the students all the way across the country or close by to the host school. After that, we have a career fair. And it's very exciting at this time because you see a lot of the local contracting firms, nurseries, anybody who's looking for a student or an employee at that time. The students come in and they're prepared with resumes to set up interviews. So a lot of the key contracting firms, and I'm sure some that are on this call and involved with the contract interest group, are aware that you can interview these students at the Student Career Day. And then on Friday night and all day on Saturday starts the competition. So not only do you get a chance to interview the student and see what they're like one-on-one, but then you can actually go out and see them compete in irrigation assembly or irrigation troubleshooting and or irrigation design. Very, very exciting. And it's so fun to see how many people do get involved. So as you can see on the pictures for the Student Career Days, upper left, Ewing Irrigation is one distributor that was there. John Deere Landscapes was also there. They do interviewing for potential employees. You can see the middle upper slide. Those are students that are in one of the educational classes and also learning about the event briefings, what's going to take place, what they need to bring. On the far upper right is K-State doing their cheer in the grand opening. And you can imagine 70 schools all doing different cheers and all of their bright colored shirts. In the middle, I'm talking to a student that was very interested about careers in irrigation. The Irrigation Foundation also supports this and had a booth. And many of our board members were in the booth talking about careers, about the Faculty Academy, and about the E3 programs. You can see in the middle slide, this was just recently, last Saturday, as a matter of fact, in North Carolina State. It rained torrentially, but at least we were still out there able to work, and the students had a blast. Even though it was a mud day, as you can see on the right. 2 years ago, we had it at Colorado State University. One of our judges is Doug McDonald with Aqua Engineering out of Fort Collins, and you can see by the 2 pictures down below, it snowed. So in rain and snow, it goes on, and then we install irrigation assembly. And then, of course, we have the troubleshooting, which is the last slide over to the right. It's probably the funnest event that I can be involved with and just see the results, because the students are very satisfied with knowing that they can accomplish this and from what they've learned in their classes and from their instructors. Another group that I'd like to address is the FFA. And I think everybody knows FFA as Future Farmers of America, even though now they refer to themselves as FFA. But interestingly enough, the mission is that FFA makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for career leadership, personal growth, and career success through agriculture education. Now, for any of you that know FFA or might be involved with one of the chapters in your area, FFA considers food and crop production, which also pertains to turf and landscapes, part of their quote-unquote agriculture education. So within the group, they do have segments on a national basis and on a regional basis that pertains to landscape and irrigation. A few years ago, I was contacted by a gentleman, Jim Scott, who was with a high school in Ohio, and asked if we would be interested in participating in their first ever national irrigation competition in landscaping, in the landscape and crop production segment. So I was scratching my head, and I went, and I said, well, this sounds like a great idea. How fun can this be? I was overwhelmed by 55,000 students coming at me in blue corduroy jackets. It was pretty fun. I represented the Irrigation Foundation at this event, and it was so worthwhile. During the first competitions that we had, the students came in teams of 4, and they actually had to tell me, the homeowner, how to reprogram my controller. They also had to show me how to repair broken pipes and sprinklers. And then this last year, we actually had them do a sales presentation to the homeowner, who was a judge, for a new irrigation system. So it was very interesting, and we're seeing this being taken to the regional level also. So if you're not aware of what's going on with FFA, even though we think more big picture that it's just agriculture, they really are getting involved in the grassroots level in landscape and irrigation. So please reach out, see what's available in your area, and see if we can't help on a regional basis with these types of competitions. Again, it's getting into that high school realm and that degree of age that we want them to see that our career is the one that they should be going into. Another association very involved with is the Sports Turf Managers Association. And you can see the website on there. Sports Turf Managers, experts on the field and partners in the game. So the mission is STMA advances professionalism in sports field management and safety through education, awareness, programs, and industry development. Every year at the annual conference, education opportunities are there for students. They have specific student tracks. It's opportunity to network with professionals in the industry. There's scholarships, more than 225,000 towards scholarships and travel to STMA have been given to over 120 students. Every year we have had a student challenge, and this is where it's very fun for me. This last year we had 30 teams from 2-year and 4-year colleges and universities come from around the country. They can be students of 2, 3, or 4 if they can get them together, and some schools even bring up to 3 teams of 4. Typically it's been very academic in the past with multiple choice, plant identification, weed identification, pest identification, and this last year I was so excited we actually had the first time a hands-on irrigation assembly competition for these students going through turf programs. And I can tell you, from listening to the students, it was the best thing they ever did. And it was really kind of comical in the end. Some of them definitely knew irrigation, but what it did, it lit a fire under the instructor's feet to start teaching more irrigation and realizing the importance of irrigation in their curriculum. So you can see the first place winners for 2 years, Penn State, second Mount Sac, and third place Mount Sac. They had 2 teams for a 2-year division. 4-year division, University of Maryland, Penn State, State University. So a very fun event. STMA is also another group that has regional meetings and chapters, and they want to do more of the irrigation assembly as competitions in their workshops. So keep your eyes and ear open for what's going on with these different groups. So why irrigation? Students ask this all the time. We need to start thinking what we want to say to students when they start asking this all the time. Well, you get to be outside. You get to get wet. You use sales, technical and field skills. You're in a small industry where you can make a difference. At the career fair, when I was there at the Planet Student Career Days last week, I had a woman walk up to me, and she was very interested in irrigation careers because she loves to sell. And she sold herself to me in a heartbeat. It was really, really fun to talk about different opportunities that are available and how she can go about pursuing those opportunities. So a few careers, as all of you know, but we just need to keep reminding ourselves to re-emphasize these, are, as a student, are you interested in hydraulics? Sometimes hydraulics just bore the heck out of people, but it's all about water and how it moves and how it makes pressure and it works together. Electricity, obviously, agronomy. You can't grow things without water. Horticulture, Same thing. Hands-on application, getting outside, using your hands and your knowledge and your skills. And of course, the key buzzword right now that's so prevalent in so many schools and programs is sustainability and just water conservation. So its irrigation careers include field work for those who enjoy the outdoors. And turf and landscape, certainly just a short list, but not limited to manufacturing, distributing, designing, consulting, contracting, and that's installation and maintenance. Again, in golf and sports turf, usually you've got an irrigation technician who can help repair and troubleshoot the existing irrigation and pump systems, deal with a wiring mess coming into a controller if they have to. Manufacturing is another opportunity, and I talk to a lot of students about what we do as manufacturing. It is definitely sales, internal and external. There's district area managers, field technical support. Not so much sales, but it's being able to get out and actually work with any quote-unquote problems or questions that take place with products in the field. You have specification-specific managers that just call on irrigation consultants, landscape architects, engineering firms, anybody who might specify the products. And then you have product managers who work inside but also definitely in the field, but they're the ones developing what the needs are for the different end users. And of course marketing. Marketing is another very exciting department to get into with so many different irrigation-specific manufacturers that we have in our industry today and part of the IA. And of course distribution. You've got, again, this is just a short list, but you've got counter sales outside, branch managers, regional managers. Marketing is also very important if you think about it for any manufacturer. And if someone's really creative and they want to get into a marketing position, let's help them understand the importance of irrigation is fun. We've got July Smart Water Month and everything else that we can start doing for awareness of efficient irrigation practices all through marketing. And then again, of course, technical services. Contracting, I know I'm preaching again to the choir, and all of you, thanks again for coming on this call, but you've got the owners, sales, laborers, equipment operator, construction foreman, construction superintendent, regional manager. I would challenge all of you in the contractor interest group to be able to even make this list longer and more meaningful than what I've done for sure. And of course, offering service itself, whether it's technical service, customer service, service technicians, whether it's with a contractor, a distributor, a consultant, manufacturer, having to do with pump station, every single opportunity needs some type of service. So more for the students that are very technically inclined and want to get in the trenches and want to be out there helping people understand what they're doing. And of course, last but not least, we're seeing more of this, and that's a water manager. Listing the landscape irrigation water auditor as just one certification, very important, as you all know, through the IA. But being able to help other people manage their irrigation systems. And it could be through central control, it could be through homeowners associations. It's helping the students understand that this is a very viable position now and a career in irrigation and water management. So an irrigation system manager. And of course, designing and consultant. With ASIC, American Society of Irrigation Consultants, we have independent irrigation consultants. They design and help consult, and obviously also help program the different systems that they give to their clients. This is very important. Brian Ben Casey with Irrigation Consulting, Inc. has actually taught the Irrigation Principles class, for those of you that don't know, at the Planet Student Career Days for the last, oh gosh, I want to say 10 years. And the students, hand down, say that his workshop is absolutely their most favorite because they learn about the basics of irrigation design. So very important. So when we think about it, irrigation has the same staffing needs of really any business. Whether you've got the manufacturers, the suppliers, the contractors, the designers, as we mentioned before, everybody has accounting. Everybody has IT, human resources, logistics, marketing, sales. So when we're talking to students about careers in irrigation and about education, and also to the instructors, especially to the instructors, I really emphasize to them the importance of making sure that the students understand all of these other fields. And so a second business degree is so vital. It helps them get through not just specific in irrigation, sustainability, water conservation, but expanding their horizon so they know there are other jobs that they could move into and advance up to and potentially becoming the owner of their own company by understanding these other fields. Interestingly enough, also, I started thinking about some of the non-business irrigation career paths. From an educator's perspective, many students want to become educators, and they can go into academic, or they can be an educator through industry by working for a manufacturer, a distributor. Many of you on the phone, I know, do a lot of education and presentations. We need to make sure the students know that those are opportunities that they can also grow towards. Municipalities. A lot of the larger municipalities and even some of the smaller ones have got specific departments where there's landscape architects, irrigation, water conservation managers that, again, a lot of the students don't know that there are those careers out there. Water regulatory agencies, again, water conservation managers. Legislative activities, and also trade associations, how to get involved because they pertain to irrigation. Irrigation design, installation, and maintenance is a blend of sciences. Basically, it's all of these. And I think some of them, the mathematics, hydraulics, physics, really scares a lot of people. Jimmy Buffett has a great song. It's called Math Sucks, and I totally can appreciate that. But it's so easy to understand once you get involved with it. And once you understand the big picture, it's really fun. Where irrigation is different from other businesses, well, you work with the gifts of Mother Nature. You can create enjoyment for others. You can see that self-satisfaction from going from a design to an installation and then into management. You're not always in the office. And the bottom line is you get to associate with terrific industry people like all of you on this call. A few career websites, and I hope you don't take the time to try to write all this stuff down, but the Irrigation Career link is through the Irrigation Foundation. It's an online tool to help connect potential employees with potential employers in the irrigation industry. You can gain an edge on the competition by uploading your resume, free, students of charge, or find that perfect employee by purchasing one of the many position posting options. Use the job seekers or employees box to get started today. And this is what a typical screenshot looks like of that link. You can post a job, you can post a resume, you can search jobs, you can set up an email job alert account. So this is all about irrigation. And if you're not aware of it, take a few seconds, go to the site, and see what it's all about. Another great site is Land Lovers. And this is very interesting. It's a career website, and I'm going to see if this works, John. So if it doesn't, I hope it does. This is the Land Lover website. And as you can see, it's got a number of different things. It's very user-friendly for students and for instructors and for career employers like yourselves, but it talks about information for students, career possibilities. You can go in, you can pick irrigation. It goes through, it talks about different career paths that you can pick. Then it gives you a breakdown of what a technician really does. So it's a very useful website that I've included the link on this, and we just need to share this. It's awesome. So again, this just shows you some of the basics that we have, and I think some of this information can be updated, but again, it's just knowing where to go and how to find this information. A few other career websites that I picked up, and I know many, many distributors, not just Ewing, have career websites. I just had this one quickly on this presentation. And so you've got Jobs Monster, Irrigation Jobs is another one. Indeed.com has got irrigation jobs posted. Jobs galore, quite a few irrigation. And even manufacturers like Hunter Industries, you can go and you can see what jobs are available at Hunter Industries right now. Just kind of some fun facts from land lovers. Myth number 5, it's only digging in the dirt. Not really. While it's true that many jobs in this industry are hands-on, technology is growing in leaps and bounds, and that's what all of these students love, is that technology. Myth number 4, these jobs don't pay well. Yeah, think again. You can earn a great living as an irrigation and landscape industry professional. Wages may vary by region, of course, but depending on which career path you choose, you could make more than $100,000 a year, and of course, even open up your own business. Myth number 3, it's only a summer job. Not true. There's many career paths to follow once you enter the nursery and landscape industry, and irrigation, of course. The jobs just aren't seasonal, as we mentioned before. Myth number 2, it's not a prestigious industry. Guess again. What if you were the head of the irrigation department for SeaWorld, Disney World, the White House, Mall of America, or maybe you were taking care of the irrigation systems at Fenway Park or Quest Field through the Denver Broncos? Possibilities are endless. And myth number 1, it's a waste of college education. Hardly. Irrigation and landscape careers require individuals with a strong academic foundation, like we said before, in a plethora of different fields, not just about irrigation and landscaping. But most importantly, it's all about passion. Diverse choices, within the industry offers vertical and horizontal growth. That's what we like to see, besides having happy people. I've also provided in this presentation, which again you can get off of the website, the National Association of Landscape Professionals has an excellent list of schools who are currently teaching landscape and many of them irrigation. The Irrigation Foundation has an excellent schools directory that pertains specifically to irrigation, and you can pull that up. You can see we're in the process of updating this directory right now, but you'll be surprised at how many schools are on there, considering we started out with 5 and now we're over 45. This is just an example on the Irrigation Foundation's website, one from Walla Walla Community College. The actual degree is in water management, irrigation technology. You can see the contact is Jerry Anhorn. The class is all about water management, is the application of irrigation principles and practices utilizing water and energy conservation methods to meet industry needs. Graduates of this program are highly recruited, I love that, are highly recruited to design, sell, install, operate, maintain, manage, and or service church, landscape, and agricultural irrigation systems. He has got one of the most successful programs I have ever seen, and you can tell even by the description of the course itself what it's all about. That's marketing. So with the conclusion, there's vast opportunities in the irrigation field. Will you get rich? Yeah, maybe. Will you get wet? Yep. Will you have fun? You bet, no matter what you do. And I think one of the funnest opportunities I have is to go to the career days, to the faculty academy, to work with the instructors, to work with the students, to inspire them with the passion that we all have for our industry, no matter what profession they end up going into. But it's all about water and our most valuable resource. So thank you very much. I really appreciate, again, taking your time today. If you have any questions, my email address is on the phone. Many of you do have my phone number. And I would love to talk with you. And please make sure that you get involved. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate that. That was great. And folks, if you have any questions for Linda, her email address is right there. But please feel free to go ahead and type them into the question box right now, so we can have a little bit of a Q&A period. As folks start thinking about what they want to ask Linda, as soon as I get my screen set up here. And and we get Mel back on the phone too. You started out by talking about all these different things that the different national associations are doing, whether it's the Irrigation Association, the Foundation, Planet, Forest Turf Managers, et cetera. For those contractors that are out there who are looking for quality talent to bring on board to work either with and or for them, what would you suggest? Should they go ahead and get involved in these specific programs themselves? Is there any way they can look at who's attended these kind of either classes or programs in the past? How would you go about recommending that to the contractors in the phone today?
I think that's a great question, John. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think first of all, I would recommend that everybody on this phone call gets involved with the Irrigation Foundation. It's all about irrigation professionals. It's about careers. Whereas with the Planet and the Sports Turf Managers, they do have excellent programs and definitely excellent opportunities. Like I said, more broad-based, not just irrigation-specific. And obviously, I'm very partial to the Irrigation Foundation. Contact the foundation. For someone who is looking for those quality students to find out which students were involved with the A3 program. That's all open information, public information. And maybe you'll find students that are in your area that you can reach out to. Contact the instructors in the schools. Find out who has participated in the irrigation courses and graduated. With Planet, for the assembly events, the competitions, the troubleshooting, the design competitions, the schools are listed. It's public information on the Planet Student Career Day websites, and you can contact Planet or National Association of Landscape Professionals, excuse me. But you can contact them, and they can give you the names of the schools and the instructors who were involved, and the instructors would gladly pass on the contact information of the students, especially if you're looking to hire.
And I know that the E3 students specifically, they've attended the irrigation show in the past, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So maybe there are some opportunities there as well, or for interaction?
Of course, the E3, by contacting the foundation and contacting Janine Sparrowgrove at the foundation, right, or anybody really in the IA office, we can definitely get a list of the students, because by the E3 students who have attended, they pack their schedule with the educational courses that are offered at the IA conference. Many of them will try to take 3 to 4 different full-day, 2-day classes. And so, again, it's just that education and that experience of being exposed to our industry and also the courses. It's fantastic. But their names and contact information are definitely available.
Awesome. Mel, let's call you back on the phone real quick. I know you're on a cell phone here. Did you have any questions for Linda or any thoughts about the presentation at all, if you're still on the line?
Well, I am here, and as usual with most of our speakers, I just say, wow, what a presentation. Great information, huge value. Thank you. I do have one question. I do have one question of getting contractors plugged in with these people. Yes, they can touch base with a local school or one of these organizations in their areas. Can we make some conduit at the IA show where contractors can meet these students and potentially have some time to discuss potentials or see what questions they may have for the contractor? I'm sure that we've got a number of contractors out there that would be more than willing to help share their knowledge. Is there something we can do at the IA show?
Mel, I'll answer that. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Toro is the main sponsor for the E3 program for the students, and so they have a set schedule. But I do know that between the foundation, the organization, getting their schedule, getting the students' scheduled plan, if we could put together something with the contractor group, it would be outstanding. The students would love it. And just to interact and to network with everybody in your group would be fantastic. And absolutely, we can get something organized.
Huge. You and I will get on the phone after this, and thank you.
Yeah, good. Well, Linda, I don't see any questions popping up. I think that was a great presentation and fantastic information. I know it's something that's in the future workforce for all aspects of irrigation, whether it's whether it's landscape irrigation, turf irrigation, or ag irrigation, are on everyone's mind. We did have one question pop up, so let me ask this real quick. I'm just going to read it verbatim here. Do the school programs that you mentioned, Linda, use paid internships prior to graduation that'll benefit the students in their learning and then full-time hiring after graduation?
That's a great question about the internships. All schools are different. I am seeing more and more irrigation-related internships being developed within the schools and also in our industry. A number of distributors have fantastic intern programs that they're implementing starting last year and this year. And if you haven't and you're interested in doing that, I can certainly give some feedback on that as to how to start an intern program, whether it's inside the distributor branch or outside, working with outside sales, delivery, offering a small stipend to the students. Kansas State University, Dr. Kathy Labus has got a fantastic model for intern programs related specifically to irrigation. So it really does depend upon the school.
Yeah, absolutely. I know just from my own perspective, from having both participated in internships, not necessarily on the irrigation side, but on the advocacy side and offering internships at the association level, I'll just echo that statement that all schools are different. In fact, some schools have changed this rule, but some schools, if the student gets paid for an internship, that student cannot get credit towards any kind of classes towards graduation. So if they have a summer internship, that might qualify for 3 credits. If that person were to get paid, depending on the school rules, may not be able to get school credit. So really, sometimes up to the student whether they want to get paid or get credits for that internship based on whatever school they attend. I don't know if that's your experience as well, Linda, in your working with universities and colleges.
Correct. Yeah, it really does depend upon the school, and I know that that is a topic of discussion at our next Faculty Academy being held this year at BYU in Provo, Utah. We have a roundtable discussion during the academy, and it's an excellent networking time for instructors to talk about what's going on within their schools and their programs, and just trying to figure out resolutions and solutions, if you will, to those types of issues like intern programs, merging of departments. So I know that we are going to be talking about that because it really is different for all different types of schools.
That's great. That's great. And I know that the foundation has a great relationship with the association, and I know that the association uses a lot of what the foundation puts together, such as these recommendations and opportunities that the contractors can interact with students or take the tools, the career development tools the foundation puts together and incorporates that into some of our either education classes or promotions from the IA. There's just all kinds of current and new opportunities with working with one another relating to this topic we're discussing today.
Awesome.
So that's great, Linda. We really appreciate it. And I just, Mel mentioned at the beginning of the webinar the series schedule here. You can see the previous 2 webinars that were provided both in January and February. We have the one that was just presented today by Linda. Our next one is on April 17th. That's Strategic Growth through Operations. Joe Gross from Goldman Sachs will be our presenter at that one. You can go ahead and register at irrigation.org/webinar_series and also view the previous webinars as well. I'll go ahead and get this webinar up along with the presentation that Linda gave probably by the beginning of next week, either Monday or Tuesday, probably Monday. It'll be up on that site. So if you have any questions, you want to reference this webinar, just visit that website and you can go ahead and view this webinar there. Finally, as Mel mentioned, this is our email addresses, both mine and Mel's. Any questions about the contract for CIG, this webinar, previous webinars, ideas on what the CIG, the contract common internship, should be doing or can do, would like to see do, please let us know. I know the leadership of the CIG always looking for new ideas, new topics, new volunteers, just anything they can do to help out contractors succeed in their jobs. All ideas are welcome, so please let us know. And with that said, thank you, Linda, for your presentation. Thank you, Mel, for your leadership, and I hope we see all of you again on a webinar down the road. So thank you very much.
Yep, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.